I'm born and bred in Atlanta to a single mother, an amazing woman named Inez Harper, aka Lady Girl, and she raised me righteously. Period. I come from love more than anything else. I come from a place where my family sold into me. They saw whatever you want to do, you can do, even though they didn't do nothing. They didn't follow no dreams. They didn't go outside the state. You know what I'm saying? My mama wouldn't even take a promotion because she didn't want the extra work. You understand me? Like
that's us. That's us. Yeah.
What's up, Hallelujah Nation? Hey, we got a great convo for you today. We're talking to poet, Tony Award winning poet, Georgian Me. She's straight Atlanta, straight ATL, and I love it. Absolutely love it. It's a great conversation. But hey, before we get over to that, if you're not part of the Hallelujah Nation, click subscribe below. And if you want to know when we put up new content, ring that bell. Ring that bell. Did you ring the bell? Ring the bell. Ring the bell. Hey, and we'll see you on the other side.
And we live, y'all. What's going on, Hallelujah Nation? It's your boy, Chris Cocktails Cornell, and my co-host,
the world famous comedian C-Dawg. Yay, yay. I shouldn't even say yay, yay, though, because that's more like West Coast.
Yeah, that is. I mean, that's not even world famous at that point. You straight West Coast, and you pigeonholed yourself into one region.
Pigeonhole myself. I'm just world famous.
I still don't have a descriptive word for me besides effervescent. So we're just gonna keep riding with that until next week, and then for my birthday, I'll reveal it. It'll be the big reveal for my birthday. It is my birthday, y'all. It's Virgo Nation, August 26th. You already know what it is. But I digress because we got a great show. Thank you to everybody that has tuned in. Before we get started, make sure you tag this. Make sure you share this. Make sure you like this. Make sure you repost it. Every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we are going to have a different artist on. We're going to be highlighting them. We're going to be spotlighting them. We're just going to have a good old conversation. Just like you would at the kitchen table, just hanging out with your favorite cousins. So we have some talented people that have been in the room already. And so again, tag this, like this, share this, repost this, because this one is like none other. You want to be a part of this conversation. C-Dawg, how excited are you about our guest today?
Hey man, I'm always excited about our guests. I mean, because these be our friends, people that we just enjoy talking to, having great conversations with. But also, man, what I just love, man, is like we got some good friends. Like we got some people, we know some people who's done some things, and so I'm super excited today about our conversation, man, because this young lady has done a whole bunch of things.
If you don't know her accolades, she has been on HBO Done Poetry 7 times, which is a record. She has a Tony Award. She has an Emmy Award. She has a Peabody Award. She has a BAFTA Award and a Kumba Award. And she has her own festival. And as we just learned, she made history this year, y'all, because everybody else shut it down, but she had the foresight and the flexibility to move online and did a 10-day virtual festival just as scheduled, because that's how dope she is. So without further ado, coming to our room, coming to the stage, we are shining the Holla spotlight on Tamika Georgian Me Harper. Tamika Harper to the room.
y'all got me?
What up, Georgian Me?
Hello, Corbin. Hello, Chris. Hey, Chris.
Hello, Corwin. What I love, and what I didn't put in the title because only you can do it well. She is straight Westside ATL, but I would love you to break down your specificity of the part of Atlanta that you are from, so they can know and represent.
Shout out to my name, Tamika Harper, aka Georgian Me. I represent that Westside ATL, that Bankhead, Simpson Road, Martin Luther King, Washington High, Zone 1. Bam.
I love it. I could not have done that justice at all.
Oh, and she finished it with "Bam."
That's real A. You know, it ain't many real A. Well, it's a lot of real A, but they keep us hidden.
Oh man, that's right. They paved the belt line over y'all. That's what happened.
Man, they try to erase the realness and the rawness and the authenticity of the A. But we shall not go away. The people, you know, who are born and bred here, we fight hard to keep this blackness, to keep this legacy going, you know?
Yeah.
I'm on the west side, first black high school. My neighborhood is designed by a black man, Pierce. We've celebrated over 100 years. We have the oldest black tennis center in the country. Like, there's legacy over here. Legacy. Martin Luther King.
I love the fact
Georgia,
that you know your history too.
Right. That's one thing. Like Georgia know it. She be knowing it. Like, have you ever lived anywhere else in the country?
Yes, I lived in Brooklyn. Shout out to my neighborhood in Brooklyn. I stayed in Fort Greene, gentrified, what was the name of it? Clinton Hills. Okay, by the time I got to Clinton Hills. But and I also stayed in San Francisco, right at Union Square, right by the Tenderloin. Ain't nothing tender about that loin. You know what I'm saying? So, and I stayed in Scotland. So I've stayed some places.
You said Scotland?
Yeah, I lived in Scotland for the whole summer. I did the largest fringe in the world, the Edinburgh Fringe in Edinburgh, Scotland, and I lived there for 3 months.
What's a fringe?
A fringe is a festival, but that's what I'm doing with Tamika Festival. That's why it's a fringe now. It goes on for weeks at a time. Sometimes it's a week, sometimes it's 2 weeks. In Scotland, they have it for 3 months.
Wow.
And it's where you not only have theater shows, you have book festivals, you have events going on 24 hours a day for a whole segment of time, and it's covering every facet of life and culture. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I was like, there wasn't one for Black people except in South Africa, and there is one. I did both of those, one in Johannesburg, one in Cape Town, and they got one in Durban, but I didn't get to do Durban. So that's why I was like, I want one in America. I want one for Black people. That's why Tamika Festival was what it is. It is what it is.
Go ahead, though. I love it. I'm so excited about this conversation. Like, I mean, you just don't know. Tamika, tell the people about, you know, we gave some accolades, but tell the people a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you've done. Tell a little people about yourself.
I mean, I'm so grateful that God allowed me to not be bound by fear my whole life. I'm born and bred in Atlanta to a single mother, an amazing woman named Inez Harper, AKA Lady Girl. And she raised me righteously, period. I come from love more than anything else. I come from a place where my family sold into me. They sold whatever you want to do, you can do, even though they didn't do nothing. They didn't follow no dreams. They didn't go outside the state. You know what I'm saying? My mama wouldn't even take a promotion because she didn't want the extra work. You understand me? Like that's
that's us. That's us. Yes.
So they put all that in me. And I love my people. I love culture and art. Being born and bred in Atlanta, when you go outside this place, you recognize how amazing it is. But I always recognized it. I always thought Black people are amazing, wonderful, fantastic, can do anything. I was raised with that, living in Atlanta. I went to school with John Lewis Jr. and Bo Young. So I saw Andrew Young and John Lewis Sr. all the time. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
John Lewis Jr. was in my class until he couldn't be in my class no more. They just had him in the A group. That was his ass. They had to hurry and get that boy back to be. He was not qualified to be in our group, but he was a sweet boy. Shout out to him.
He's a sweet boy.
Stupid. Hey, that's how Black people do. They say something about you, and then they compliment you.
Exactly. You know, it's like he ain't total trash. You know what I'm saying? But being that I went to Kennedy camp, which this is what I love about my city. It has so many outlets for the youth. You know what I mean? I was a counselor at my Y. I had programs at my Y. I've been an activist since I was 11 years old. My first group I started was Students for Nonviolence in the 6th grade. And the reason I started it was to keep my homeboy, who was a little light in the butt, you know, boys who ain't got no whole bunch of bravado and they got their mama ways. They're not necessarily gay, but they're very effeminate, right? So every time a fight broke out, he ain't had nothing to do with it. They just started throwing them big orange dictionaries at Dante. And I was like, Dante getting I'm like, Dante getting murdered by these dictionaries. We got to do something.
Oh, you're stupid.
But you know, people would get trampled running to the fight. So I was like, I said, how about, I went to the teachers and I said, how about y'all let me talk to this cluster and ask them not to run to the fight. Let them fight, but let's not make it worse by running to it. So it worked in the beginning of the day. And by after lunch, people was back to running. But everybody wasn't back to running.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? And as the year went on, it was less and less. People kept it in their mind. I'm not going to run to that. Let them handle that. Da-da-da-da. Because I was discouraged at first. My mom, I came home, I was like, Mama, they ran up to the fight. My mama said, and this is why I'm an activist to this day. My mama said, I ain't march, I ain't sit in, I ain't protest, but I sit at the front of the bus today. You don't worry about what everybody do. You do what you got to do for everybody. And that's been it ever since. So, so my activism and writing, my writing is a part of my activism. I got that at Kennedy Camp. That's where I learned about Nikki Giovanni. And then as I grew, I learned about Amiri Baraka and Corsanya and Connie Cullen and Langston Hughes. And then I was introduced to this amazing group called Goody Mob. And they just put that fire in me.
Yeah.
You know, I could be radical, I could be hood, I could be smart, I could be revolutionary, and I could be fly all at the same time. Yeah,
Boy.
that's what I do. And that's what you got here. I'm a goody baby, you know. And I remember when I first started, I wasn't accepted in the poetry world because I had a perm and I ate meat. They actually judged me, shouted like, she eats meat, she has a perm. These are actual words. I ain't gonna say who said it, but you know her cocktails. And I just kept doing my thing because the poetry world didn't necessarily accept me. So I went to the comedy nights. I went to the Apollo nights. I went to strip clubs. I went to the park after the brothers get off work and they don't want to go home yet. You know what I'm saying? So I hustled, got my name up. And fortunately, after doing all the spots and winning all the competitions across the city, the radio got to know me. I was the first poet in the country to have a drop that opened up a show every morning for like 3 years. Ryan M did that for me. You know what I'm saying? And then when Def Poetry came about, they let me know about it, but that's not how I got on Def Poetry, because that happened and nothing, I submitted, nothing happened. A brother, this is why you got to try. I always, CeeLo Green say you never fail when you try. I found a magazine at a group meeting I was at. You know, I'm always part of Revolution, some brothers, Nation Time Syndicate. Shout out to Minister Server. And they were smoking or doing something at the meeting. Nobody was doing anything that was productive. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just sitting in the back. Like, I thought we were for the revolution. So I picked up a magazine and I seen a group called the Takala Poetry Troupe. And I was like, they was here in Atlanta. And I called the number. It was the wrong number, but it connected me to Walter Mudu. And I said, I do poetry. I want to get out of Atlanta. And he was like, well, I used to manage poets. Let me hear something. I spit for him. He was like, I'm coming to Atlanta. I need to meet you. I was a little scared because he's from New York. You know how Atlanta people about New York.
New York.
He gonna do something to me. I can't just meet him by myself. But so I didn't meet him that time. He called me 3 years later and said, send me a video. I did not know what it was for, but I said, I'm on the Atlanta Poetry Slam team right now. I'm captain. he said, send me some other people. On that video was Abyss, me, Bonnie. I don't know if Bonnie was on there. Alexis, Johannes, and that was it. That was it. Who happened to be at that? And Malik. Out of 3,900 tapes, with I don't know how many people on them tapes, me and Abyss was chosen to be the first out of the first 40 people on Def Poetry. I'm the first woman and the first black. And I want to say the first hood, because it ain't much hood in the poetry world, okay? So that's what happened. That's why I'm a girl who go after her dreams, love her people. I'm a servant of God. It's always the head of my life. I don't shy away from that and shy away from all of who I am. Now, like I said, I'm appropriate for the check, but I don't change who I am.
Yeah, I love it. And I've always loved that about you. Like, I mean, day one, you was always you. I mean, and that's just the beauty too of, and we were talking earlier, just how when you go into just different settings, it's not like many times, many different artists, comics, poets, we change who we are to try to appease what we think people want. But and not considering that they booked you for who you were.
Exactly.
You know. But that's what I love about you. In any room, no matter Christian, white, black, Hispanic, you are you regardless.
I learned a long time ago, I'm not gonna be 27 different people for 27 different people.
That'll preach. That'll preach.
Much word. It ain't necessary. You are more than enough. You are more than enough. What you bring to this earth is uniquely divine, and don't deny yourself or other people from experiencing that. I'm so glad that I'm like I am. I'm amazing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I love it.
And people need to understand the divinity. If you understand your divinity, you don't worry about what people think, because you know that Most High judges you. That's it. You feel me? So,
I love it.
So you said something, George. I want to double click on it though, because you know when I came to the poetry scene, same thing. I wasn't the prototype, the stereotypical poet. You know, Ashe, shimmy shimmy ya. You know, burning incense in the dark in the corner, sipping on, you know, ginseng and tea. Like, you know, I came in like just, hey, what's up, y'all? Hey, I do poetry too. What's going on? So can you talk about like how we were able to take the people that we knew were talented, but to your point, be able to walk into these rooms and get the art to translate to a bigger audience or quote unquote mainstream?
Well, that's the main reason I loved you and Abyss, because Abyss brought me to the poetry scene. I came to the poetry scene, didn't like it, left, left because I was like, I ain't finna be judged by these lames. They ain't finna make me feel bad. You know what I'm saying about myself? So I met Abyss at 112 in the Apollo night, and he talked about it to this day, how I bust his butt for that $1,000. Because I had heard him talking mess. Somebody said, it's a poet up there talking about he finna win the money. I said, who finna win my money?
My money. I already counted it.
My money. I did that, period. That's how I paid bills. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to 112 on Wednesday, go to 321 on Tuesday, go to Royal 20 grand on Thursday, or go to Club Rich on Old National. I knew where the spots that had money. You understand me? I go up against the singingest girl, the rappingest brother. It did not matter. I was gonna get that money. So after he went up, and I was like, okay, he was good. I clapped for him and everything. Then I went there and got my money. And then and then afterwards he said to me, we doing this slam at More Epics. And I said, I don't slam, shawty. I don't slam, because I ain't with that. I ain't no poetry person. Like, they don't mess with me. And he said, please just come out. I came out, won, eventually winning the whole thing, becoming captain of the slam team, and then being immersed in y'all world. And y'all weren't wheatgrass and koofies and, you know, stereotypical poetry people. Y'all were real brothers, you know, real folk. And we had good times. That's why we made it big, because y'all had pajama parties. Y'all had big outings, cookouts, and fly stuff. And we had like parties on rooftops, and you know what I'm saying, that everybody could engage in. And also the poets that ended up being a part of this movement weren't esoteric poets. They was relatable poets that you could understand their story, their testimony. And you all just kept putting the paint where it ain't. That's what we do now. We put the paint where it ain't. You don't think you need poetry. Let me show you how you can use this poetry. Let me show you how it can be implemented into your life, into your work program. To like I've done poetry in every capacity almost. Like not only just writing for, like I wrote for the Dance Theater of Harlem. I've written for Jeep Cherokee. I've written for Heineken. I've written for the U.S. Census. I did LeBron James Nike signing when he was 18. They brought me in.
Oh, dope!
Shout it. Let me tell you, they brought me Lemon, Mida, and poetry, and they paid us well. Thank you, Nike. Thank you, Phil Knight. They paid us well and gave us Nike dollars to go to the Nike store. I'm just saying, on their campus. We was in Portland, okay? And had us do this production just for LeBron, convincing him to sign with Nike. And it was just LeBron, Maverick, Rich Paul, his mama, and maybe somebody else. You know what I'm saying? It was his boy. Yeah. And I made him blush and his mama cry. You understand? So I've done Michael Jordan camp. God has blessed me. That's why when poets people be like, poetry, I'm like, you don't know what poetry can do. You know what I'm saying? You don't know the extent of what people do with poetry. It's so vast, but people have a limited view of what it is. They think coffee house. They think a little spot in a corner somewhere with 50 people. I had performed in front of 10,000 strong, held them down. I was the first one to captivate them. Do you understand me? So I'm just here to break the barriers, let folk know what it is, and my comrades, let them know about the other good ones. Like me and my friends say, I'm a trailblazer. I'm the one to go, there's gold in them hills. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
That's my job. So I mean, we didn't allow poetry to define us. We defined poetry. You know what I'm saying?
I love it. Vonnie Hips, she said she really loved your presentation at the Stonecrest Library a few years ago. She was hooked on your levity and your girls program. And she said, when you are up to running it, when are you up to running it again? The girls, please let us know. So Vonnie Hips, she enjoyed.
She wants to send a donation.
Yeah.
Tell her I say thank you. My Cash App is Wisdom's Mama.
Wisdom's Mama. Put that in the chat. Wisdom's Mama.
M-A-M-A. But I mean, I do a lot of work. Sometimes when people don't put me in certain places, I don't get mad because that's like I said, that's their limited view. Like some people think I can't do shows without explicatives. I'm a very well-versed woman with a huge vocabulary. I can do any arena. I do children's schools, churches, funerals, corporate. Like, I mean, God has blessed me to do a lot. So don't limit me by your own limits of your mind. So, I mean, like, I look forward to doing many programs. If she's looking for something for her girls, tell her to go look at Miss Regina Sunshine. She has a girls program right now that I just did a whole lecture for 2 weeks ago. And it's very good. So tell her to go look up Regina Sunshine Robinson, and she will find something for specifically teenage girls from 10 to 17.
Dope.
Excellent.
That's dope.
We got one more question in the chat for you, Georgia. Latanya Belcher asks, which piece was the hardest emotionally for you to write?
Full Figure Potential. I wrote that whole piece crying. It was right after the incident happened that inspired it. Like I tell this story in my show. I was walking from the Y. Like I told y'all, I've been a counselor in my community forever. I was leaving work. I had just swam 8 laps in the pool. It's an Olympic-sized pool. Not this one lap, this one lap. This is 1 lap. You feel me?
Right.
I did 8 laps. I'm walking up the hill. Cocktails, you've been to my house. You know them hills in Atlanta.
Man, look, yeah.
So I look tired, okay? So I'm walking up the hill, and some girl, God bless her soul, yells out her car, lose weight.
Mm.
And I was just devastated. And I got home, because we had cell phones then. I got home, called my best friend Amira, crying. Amira. And she's like, what's wrong? What's wrong? She said some other things, but we on this Christian show. What's wrong? What's wrong? Because she ready to go fight. And I'm like, I was walking up the hill from the pool, and I had just swam 8 laps. She's like, 8 laps? I'm like, yeah, because you can't even do 8 laps, you know? And I'm like, and this girl yelled out the car, lose weight. My friend being my friend, we gonna find this. We gonna ride on that. You're like, we ready to fight somebody we don't even know. But I learned in that moment, I gave her power to define things. And I wrote that poem right there, just genuine, out of money, looking for a snack. Then I see little Debbie's face on the pack, because that was my regular routine. Walking in that Shell gas station, getting me a strawberry shortcake. You know what I'm saying? Like regular. I don't even eat little Debbie's no more. But yeah, I do fudge rounds. I still eat them. But but that's where it came from. And I went through all of the painful moments that I had endured, whether it be young men. That when I say big draws, that actually happened downtown Atlanta. A brother hollered out big draws, and he meant it in a complimentary way. But I couldn't receive that.
Right.
I couldn't receive that. I was just, oh my God, he's attacking me. No, he wanted it. And I wanted healing. And not only did I get healing for myself, but that poem has done so much great work. It has saved people from killing themselves. It has made people change their health and their diet. It has made people love themselves in a grander, greater way. I thank God for it. I remember when I was on Broadway, a white mother came up to me crying because she had locked her refrigerator on her daughter.
Oh, wow.
And she was just devastated that what she was doing to her child. And I helped her understand that. So, you know, the work's supposed to work. You know what I'm saying? Like some people just be doing poetry. I want you to move on what I'm saying. I want you to be moved by what I'm talking about. And if you're not, then I'm not really doing my job. I'm a writer at that point. You're just enjoying the work. You're not, you know, making any moves in your life to be better or be inspired by it. You know what I'm saying? So like that piece right there. And let me tell you something about that poem. That was not the poem I was chosen for on Deaf Poetry. When I got there, I told them that's what I was gonna do.
Oh wow, that's what I'm talking about. Yes.
Because they loved the other poem. They was hyped. They was like, she the Millie Jackson of poetry. They were so crunk. This Stan Lathan and Russell Simmons. That's who they date. This she the Millie Jackson of poetry. And I'm like, Millie Jackson? I don't think, yeah. So when I did Full Figure Potential, they was like, this say Full Figure Potential. This don't say Sister to Sister. I said, I know y'all gonna like it. And they did. They was like, okay, go for it. And that night, standing ovation, right after the show, me and Sue Hare sitting backstage. Russell said, my 2 women got the standing O's of the night. Are y'all going to Aspen with us next month? Me and Sue Hare said, yep, we're going. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right,
hey,
right.
Great. And it was on after that. You know what I'm saying?
I love it. I love it. I love what you said, though. Like, because I don't know if everybody thinks like this, like what you just said, in the sense, like you said, you write material to move, to get people to move, to put people into action. And I just think that's an amazing even thought, you know, than to just get, because most of us do something to get a reaction, you know, but that actually move people by our words.
That's my only purpose. I asked God after I did Sister to Sister. I said, God, if you allow me to take care of my family and get out of Atlanta, I will spit anywhere and everywhere you say.
Mm.
And I mean, I've spit in bathrooms to women who were just beat up in the club.
Mm.
Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Like, I got a word for everywhere, you know, and that's what it's for. And I thank God that he gave it to me. I don't take no credit for it. It's all divine. You know what I'm saying? If I have to write something, like with LeBron, I had to pray on it, but I knew what I wanted to say. I know I had to incorporate his life and what he had done already at 18.
Yeah.
But that's not something I was inspired to do, but I am a writer and I can do it, and I had to bring the heart to it. So that's what it is. It's just about, you know, being genuine. And when you first sit down to write, and even when you perform, having your intentions clear. I don't care if y'all clap. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's okay. I want the reaction. I'm a human too. You know what I'm saying? But if you hear me, and I guess we were talking about this earlier, especially after living in Scotland and doing the Fringe, European audiences don't respond at all. At all.
Right.
They feel it's disrespectful. So that trained me not to look for the clap or care about it.
That's
the
good.
words are the star. You're not the star. The words are.
That's good. That's amazing. What was that one thing for you, or that moment for you that you knew I can do this? Like, yeah, what was that moment that said, like, without a shadow of a doubt, I know I'm supposed to be here?
That first night I spit at Mecca, at Club Mecca on Peachtree downtown.
I remember Club Mecca.
I've always been a speaker. I've always been a writer, but I didn't incorporate the two to be public. And like I said, after that night, a girl came up to me and told me she was gonna put some clothes on. She said, I'm gonna put some clothes on. And I said, what? And she said, because of your poem, when I go to the club, I'm gonna put some clothes on. You know what I'm saying? And I knew right then I had the power to affect people. You feel what I'm saying? So it didn't matter about what anybody thought. I just had to figure a way to keep doing this. And then God moved. My dad promised me a computer at 13. He gave it to me at 22. So then I could copy my CDs and make my CD inserts, and I sold my CDs, and you know, everything was divine in order. I was in college, then all of a sudden I'm doing all these shows with, thank God, Ryan and them, they used to really mess with me. I don't know about now. That's a whole nother situation. Is he still Bankhead? Somebody tell me. Is he still Bankhead?
I don't know.
Seem Buckhead to me. But and when I see him, I'ma tell him. I'ma eat him up. Because I don't understand this. This is my thing about my city. Ain't nobody done the things I've done and represented this city the way I have. So for them to not support me is unbelievable to me. Like, I shouldn't have to go through nothing to get on your show or whatever. When you have reality starlets who are horrible examples of human beings. Come on now. I come from a city of excellence, grace, dignity, pride. And they ain't even from here. They flew here. I grew here. And you disrespect me by not promoting me way higher than you are doing. And that's just how I feel. So when I see Ryan, I'm driving down on him. Now, I know he just had a heart situation. So I'm going to be like, but I'm still going to get in that tail. I'm telling you. Oh, he can get ready for it. I don't play. But like, thank God, shout out to Jacques, shout out to 94.5. They support. You know what I'm saying? Shouty, and Mo Brown, they thank you to my boy. He always look out for me. So I just, JD Davis, if y'all don't know him, he work in promotions for 95.5 in the mix. Well, I don't know if the mix even exists anymore. But he's been the reason why I've had any type of presence on the radio. And Joyce Littell. Shout out to Joyce Littell for always having the poets back here in Atlanta. Always. You know what I'm saying? Because the program director at B103, he just don't like me. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Yeah. A lot of fat men don't like fat women. You know how that goes. I don't understand that.
I ain't gonna name his name. We all right. So no, but I think to your point of the champions, Georgia, there has been people that have been put in your life that, have blessed to be those catalysts, to open those doors. And you know what to do when you walk in those doors. And so actually that's my next question, because, I'll be honest, I've strayed away from the scene. I'm not as immersed in it as I was. And what I really just respect and love about you is you just got through talking about, hey man, I need to go support this person. I need to go to this room. I need to, educate these people. And, you always want to make sure that the lifeblood of the art is still rich and pumping fresh. So, for these artists that are looking at you 20 years later, highly accomplished, like, what are those just like practical words of wisdom? Because like right now, you're like an OG, a sage, and all the jewels you dropping now, what do they need to know to kind of keep this thing on track so we can continue to harvest the different talent coming out of ATL?
Be innovative, not a copycat. Do what's not been done. Be a creator, be God. That's what you should do. You know what I'm saying? Because you got it in you. Whatever you think, try it. And you never know what's gonna happen. I mean, think about me in this festival. I started doing this festival 12 years ago. You know how many people told me to stop? Our friend who told me to stop. Year 5, they said, you've been doing this 5 years now, Georgia. You can let this go. I want this to be going on when I'm dead. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, are you crazy? We're talking about legacy. And not be afraid to so-called fail, because you never lose. You just learn how to do it better. You feel what I'm saying? So, I mean, they got to trust themselves and don't be too high and mighty. You are not the end all be all. You ain't the first one. You ain't going to be the last one. Give homage to the elders. Give homage to those who have accomplished, who are in your same age bracket and a little bit older. I've never been like, I'm going against Jessica Care Moore. I honored her at my festival. I was watching Apollo when I was a child, watching her win at Apollo. Same thing for Saul. I honor Saul. I honor Ursula. I honor, I don't know if y'all remember this sister from Atlanta. Her name was Jigaboo. Now her name Freedom Ford.
Yeah.
Got flow. She was on whatchamacallit album, Kendrick Lamar.
She was. I didn't even know that. But I think she's amazing, and I ain't heard her in a long time, but I still give homage to somebody I seen that was dope. And then my comrades, I'm constantly letting people know about everybody. When I go to colleges, and I don't do as many as I used to, I leave a list of at least 119 poets that they can choose from. I said 119.
Yep.
That's
I
the
love
elders.
that.
That's the elders. That's the ones coming up. Those are the beasts. Those are the giants. Those are the staples who have a name out here, who will give you a great show, depending on your budget. You know what I'm saying? Even in my, and I have an agency where I book poets, and I say in my tagline, I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but I got something for you to sip on. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's what it's about. It's about learning the craft, expanding the craft. Doing what is it? There's a young lady out of New York, Harlem. Her name Kyra J. I don't know if y'all heard of her. She went viral a couple of times. She's been all over the world. This young lady financed her own movie, filmed it, directed, wrote it, and put it up at the Magic Johnson Theater in Harlem.
Wow.
And it's dope. It's on YouTube. It's called Breaking Point.
Have to check that out.
See, a lot of people don't promote other people in the game because they think it takes something from them. Shout out to Jessica Care Moore. We Want Our Bodies Back. That's her new book. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've got to promote each other. Other art forms do that. In the poetry world, it's like, if you ain't my best friend, buddy, out the same scene, I ain't gonna say nothing about your work. No, we're not doing it like that. Shout out to Roscoe Burnham in Virginia, who just had a special that he just taped. Awesome one-man show. Shout out to Teresa the Songbird, who One Woman Show is one of the best shows I've ever seen. And I've done the theater festivals around the world. So I've seen plenty of one-woman shows, one-man shows, and theater productions. And it is amazing. Y'all, when you get a chance, we open back up, please treat you and your wife to go see her show. You know what I'm saying? So it's nothing for me to give homage or credit or praise to everybody else, because guess what? I'm great. Mediocre people don't get props.
Love it. Love it. Man, girl. This why I couldn't wait to have this conversation. This is why I couldn't wait. Like, so man, we got that much longer, but what are, like, you got so many wonderful pieces. What is your inspiration to your writing besides, you know, just life, but like, and what's your process in writing?
I tell people all the time, I work by desperation or inspiration. I got to get it out because you paying me.
Right.
You paying me, I got a deadline, or I can't sleep. I can't sleep. It's on me. It's in me. It's got to come out. Like this piece I wrote, and it still ain't finished, but it's so long. I want to stop it, but it just keeps coming. This piece I wrote about, it's kind of about Chicago, but it's just about our people and the violence. But it was inspired by one morning watching Good Morning America and seeing 6 shot in 6 hours in Philly.
Wow.
And then right after that, there was like 23 murdered in Chicago this weekend. And I was like, oh my God. And the piece just came out me. You know what I'm saying? It just came, it just kept coming, and it's still coming. And I don't know when it's gonna be through. I ended at a certain point when I'm performing it, but people don't know how much more that poem's goes because it's not done yet. I think it's gonna be a choreo poem. That's what I think it's gonna be. You know what I'm saying? So my process is just really just release. And some people don't understand it. You know, you can hear something and think, oh, that's where it started. That could be the last thing I wrote that I put at the top. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that happens with me. Like I'll be like, nah, this need to be here. And that's just how it works. I just let it be. And I don't really do a lot of editing, except for when I think a piece is going in too many places, like, oh no, this is gonna be 2, 3 pieces. And a lot of poets don't have the power of edit. They don't know they got 3, 4, 5 pieces in one piece.
Yeah.
They're bad writers. Okay.
I was gonna say baby snakes. They don't know how much venom to give them, but or they're bad writers.
They're bad writers.
It's just a long bad piece.
That's bad, and I be like, oh my God. But I appreciate everybody's, you know, testimony. And it's like we were talking about me. Somebody I was talking about a poet. I'm not gonna say her name. I believe everything she says. Her poetry is not good though. But what she talks about is real.
Wow.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And some folks don't understand. They're not writing poetry. They're writing laments, rants, venting. You feel what I'm saying? There's no craft. And I'm very well aware. And you know, somebody could say that to me because I write in colloquialisms and I write in my authentic hood voice. But then they don't know Zora Neale Hurston then. They don't understand the lineage, okay? Right. Now, when I'm doing a commission piece, it ain't gonna be a lot of that hood talk and all of that. You know what I'm saying? It's just not. But when I'm writing for me, that's what it's gonna be. It's gonna be the voice of a Southern hood, Black female who's a scholar. That's what you're gonna hear. So.
Well, hey, that's a great setup for we want to hear. We give us a piece of Georgian Me, whether it's something new, something old, something you're working on. Can we give the people something?
I'm gonna do my poem about Atlanta because that's so that's awesome. You know, like I love my city, and I just feel like people have a limited view of it, and I just feel like this poem really encapsulates what Atlanta is. Okay, here we go. The Promised Land. If Brooklyn is the heart of America. Atlanta, gots to be the soul. Where you from? Gots to be the South, no doubt. You can tell by the flow of my mouth, my southern twang, distinguished disposition, superior manners, inert intuition, the feeling of home whenever in my presence, for I reek of the essence of Atlanta. My whole life was right out of Martin Luther King. My whole life I sang. We shall overcome. I knew I was one of those who would go down fighting, most likely through my writing and speaking, continuously seeking truth, letting my folks beware, but never afraid, because destiny is laid. Knowing all you can give is showing others how to live. I learned that from King. Such a simple thing, living with no fear. I was fed that right here. How the hell I'm gonna be scared? My grandmother's grandmother was a slave. Rape and reoccurring resignation, no one could save her or stop her from engraving survivor on the road she paved. 4 generations later, I stand unscathed. Call me brave, but it just runs through my veins, the pain and the triumph of Camille Bell. I remember the killings in the ATL. They was blaming this kid named Wayne, but we ATLians who claimed to the Klan for most of those slain. Stone Mountain, where the Ku Klux was created, now invaded with affluent Nubians and Mexican natives. While other kids stay jaded, we stay elated off the excellence of Monica Kaufman on Channel 2. You never know how she gonna have her do. I saw her one year at the Sweet Auburn Festival. You know, the famous avenue where Ebenezer Baptist Church is located. Never been in, real hard to get through. ATL, we love Dr. King, the King family, another issue. And who knew a city that feels like a neighborhood could host the Olympic Games? I tell you who, Maynard Jackson and Andrew Young, they did the dang thing. See, being from here, I knew I could do whatever I wanted as long as I had a plan. See, being from here, I know I could do whatever I wanted as long as I know I am. See, being from here, I know I could do whatever I wanted as long as my mission, I understand. I thank God I'm from the promised land, ATL.
Yeah. Georgian Me, it's always a pleasure. Like, I mean, I tell you, whenever I'm on a show and they say a poet on the show, I'm always hoping it's Georgian Me. And when it's you, I'm like, yes. Like, because I know I'm going to get some dope spoken word, but also she going to be funny enough to set him up for me if I'm after her. So I already know. So
let me tell you this, Corin. I thank God for the comedians. Real talk. I love my poetry world, but I thank God because so many comedians have put me on shows because of that exact same fact. They're like, she gonna set the audience up just right for me with her poetry. They're not depressed, want to kill themselves, or feel bad about life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
yep.
I appreciate all y'all.
Hey, we appreciate you. Hey, we appreciate you. Thank you, Georgian Me, for allowing us to shine the Holla spotlight on you.
Thank you.
Let us know where we can find you. Give us all your information so people can find you.
I need all the followers, y'all. I need all the followers. Get your cousin. The real Georgian Me. The real Georgian Me. Georgiame on IG. Facebook. Don't worry about that. I'm full. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't be my friend on Facebook. You can follow me though at Tamika Harper (Georgian Me) and my website Georgian Me the Poet. That's where a lot of things will be coming through, and also my YouTube channel Georgian Me the Poet. You can see all of the Tamika Festival plus some other videos that my brother Abyss put up on my channel. And my business number is 470-285-GAME. 470.
Okay.
That's the new area code. 285 like the interstate, and GAME. That's my name.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Hey, it's been the Holla Spotlight. Christopher Cornell, C-Dawg, the world famous, and Georgian Me. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. We up out of here. Peace.
Peace.